highvolumemusicradio.com. The Business Knowledge Broker Hour.
Hey, yo, Guru, you ready?
Business, marketing, accounting, social media, resources, strategies, tips, events. The Business Knowledge Broker Hour.
It's just savage business.
Grants, funding, capital, life
insurance,
annuities, finances, tax tips, strategies, music, business, local spotlights, business highlights, leadership, entrepreneurship. The Business Knowledge Broker Hour. highvolumemusicradio.com.
All right. Hey. That was Cranes in the Sky by Solange here on High Volume Music Radio. And you know what? I just have to say, I announced some events earlier. I'm going to announce a few more because people have been sending them to me through phone because they hear me on the airways talking about it. But let me tell you something about the guest that I have for tonight's show. When I say she is amazing, she is amazing. She is someone that, truly went through life's trials and tribulations and came back and found her purpose. And she created an awesome company around that purpose. So I'm going to bring up her mic and I'm going to let her introduce herself because that's what I do. Hey, greetings, Miss Ashley.
Hi, Candace.
Hey, thank you for being my guest tonight for the Business Knowledge Broker Hour with Candace Joseph on High Volume Music Radio. I want to say thank you for being awesome, thank you for being who you are, and thank you for being a great entrepreneur.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, ma'am. So I want you to introduce yourself because I like for people to do that, in their own space. So I want you to tell the people about you, who you are, your company, and tell them your awesome story.
Okay. I do love to tell a story.
Well, come on with it.
Well, my name is Ashley Jackson-Thompson, and my story really begins with back in 2011. My father passed away very suddenly. He passed away from a brain aneurysm, and he was full of life, very healthy. He was just gone one day. So at that point, I knew there was more to life than just clocking and, punching in and out a regular 9-to-5 job. There's more to life than this. My parents are entrepreneurs. So, I kind of figured it was already in my blood.
Okay.
Well, just going through the grieving process, it took me a while. I'm such I'm a caregiver. I'm just making sure everybody else is okay before checking in on me, my feelings, my emotions. So I actually quit my job, which was deemed a little crazy because it was a good job. Okay. I was a manager for a retail store, and I quit my job and I traveled for about 9 months overseas.
Wow.
Yeah, I went to, oh my goodness, like 19 or 20 different countries in a 9-month span of time.
Amazing.
Yes, and it was awesome. I was by myself for most of the time. A few friends and family members would meet me along the way, but it was my time. It was me. It was me time to figure out what is Ashley here for. I had lost my best friend, my dad, all rolled into one. So, I just needed that time for me to gain clarity. I did leave a boyfriend of, oh my gosh, I think it was about 2 years at that point.
Okay.
But his name is Troy. He told me to go do what I needed to do for my sanity and my grieving process. So he just set me off and said, be free. Go do what you need to do. Well, when I came back home, we fell right back into, just being boyfriend, girlfriend, like nothing changed. And about 3 months after I had returned from home, he proposed to me at Cinderella's castle at Disney World.
Nice.
I'm a little obsessed with Disney, so he pulled off the perfect surprise. So we got engaged on January 1st of 2017, and I'll never forget this date as long as I live. On March 28th of 2017, Troy was diagnosed with a rare cancer in stage 4. And, we literally had only been engaged for 2 months.
Yeah.
We were in the midst of planning our wedding, thinking, what are we going to do in our future as a married couple? All those thoughts kind of went, to a screeching halt when we heard this news.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah, and I became a caregiver again at age 31, but this was a little bit more intense. His hospital that we had to go to was an hour and a half one way from us. So we were, beating the highway back and forth every day. At the time, I didn't really think much of it. I had to do what I had to do to keep my fiance alive.
Yes, ma'am.
If this is where, if this is where he was going to get the best treatment, then so be it. We were going to get him there. So he went through a rigorous, nasty chemo. If any of your listeners have been through it or they're caregivers themselves, they will understand what chemo and radiation can do to their loved one or to themselves. He lost hair and the appetite and all of that. The tumor that he had, it was rare, but it was also in a rare spot, and it was aggressive.
Yeah.
So they would attack it with the chemo and radiation, and it would shrink, but then it would come back.
Wow.
So in December of 2017, they decided to do surgery to see if they could just remove most or all of it. Well, when they finally opened Troy up, unfortunately, when they opened him up, they found that the tumor started in his nasal cavity, but then it had moved to wrap around his left eye, and it had cracked open a part of his skull.
Wow.
So they had to remove a part of his nose, his left eye, and his skull, a little bit of his skull. So, after this first surgery he had, we were devastated. It was a consequence that they warned us about.
Yeah.
But when you're in that fight in survival mode, you're not really thinking of that it can actually happen. And it did. So we had to work through those emotions and, you know, just the loss, because it changes you when you lose limbs or, you know, any kind of other body parts. It's a change. You have to, you know, it's not like he had to relearn to walk or anything, but he had to learn how to see with one eye. You know, so this whole time I'm asking, can we postpone our wedding? Can we maybe just elope, me, you, and our mother, go to the courthouse, and we'll have a big party when you feel stronger, you know, better, maybe in a year or two. And he kept telling me, absolutely not. He said, I'm not sitting in this chair getting pumped full of chemo to not see you walk down the aisle to me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
so,
ma'am.
You know, I said, well, I can't deny him that. So we got married in August of 2018. It was it was our best day ever. It was wonderful. It was beautiful, fun, filled with laughter and love. A lot of people tell me that there wasn't a dry eye in the ceremony during our vows.
I bet. I look. I bet it wasn't.
It was funny because we had our wedding recorded, and when our pastor was asking us, you know, will you stick with each other, you know, through sickness and health, we kind of look at each other and start to chuckle.
I can understand why.
I'm like, we've already kind of dealt with that before we got married, so I think we're good.
Amazing.
So we ended up going to Hawaii on our honeymoon. It was beautiful. Towards the end of our honeymoon, Troy was getting a little antsy because he knew that we were going to see his doctor again after we got back from our honeymoon for test results. It was about 3 days after we returned from Hawaii. We were sitting there waiting for his doctor to come in, and when she walked in the door, I just felt this presence, and I was like, something's not right, you know. So she looked at Troy, and she tells him, hey, Troy, I am so sorry. There's nothing that I can do for you at this point.
Yeah.
The tumor is coming back. I have given you all of the chemo treatment, radiation. He is actually never allowed to have radiation ever again from the neck up.
Wow.
He has had a lifetime amount of radiation in his neck to his head. And I start immediately crying because I'm like, we just returned from paradise, and now you're telling me my husband is, because she told me to call hospice. And the only thing I've known about hospice was that that's where people go to die. I didn't know any better.
I understand. I can understand that. Considering the situation, I can definitely understand why you would say that. Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, I immediately start crying because I'm like, we just had this beautiful wedding, awesome, you know, honeymoon, and now I'm going to have to start planning for his hospice stay and then the eventual funeral arrangement. You know, my mind was just racing. Well, while my mind is going crazy, I hear Troy say, no, I'm not going out like that. Wow. That's exactly what he said to the doctor. He said, no, I'm not going out like that. You got to find me something. You got to find some kind of treatment for me, or, you know, we just going to pray this out because I'm not going out like that. And it snapped me out of my misery, like that I was having there for a couple seconds. And I said, you know what? He's right. We're gonna keep fighting. And his doctor said, okay, well, I'm not sure what any other treatment I can offer, but we'll go to the board there at the hospital to see if there's anything else at all that they could do for him. Well, a couple weeks after that, his doctor gives me a call and tells me that there's a slight possibility that there is dead tissue, basically scar tissue, that is acting like tumor that might be causing the test to read as there's a tumor growth.
Yeah.
But the only way that they are going to be able to tell if it's tumor or tumor or scar tissue, they're going to have to do surgery.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, again? You're going to have to go through, the same passageway again? Because the first surgery scared me. Like, it was rough. It was really, really rough. I'm not going to lie. You watch your loved one, you leave each other one way, and then he comes back to you a whole different way. It's scary. So the second time, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm just, please, Lord, don't take anything else. So they went back in, and this time it was not tumor, thankfully, but it was that scar tissue that they were telling us about.
Yeah.
The scar tissue, for some reason, I don't know how this even works, neither do the doctors, but the scar tissue grew and it busted open more of his skull and actually got into his brain.
Oh, wow.
So they had to remove even a little bit more of his skull and a part of his brain.
Wow.
So, and I was worried because the part of the brain that they took affected mood and short-term memory. So I was afraid he was going to wake up and maybe not know, who I am or be upset or,
Oh, wow.
But thankfully, none of that happened. I can only thank God that it wasn't worse.
Yes.
So he continued on, after his second surgery. He was doing an experimental therapy, and they felt like that was working. So it brought us to March of this year, March 2020. He almost exactly to the date of when he was diagnosed, he was pronounced cancer-free. So thank God. And he recently just had a 6-month scan.
Yeah.
And he is still cancer-free. So we're sitting about 7 months now that he is cancer-free.
Yes.
So, and for any of your listeners that are caregivers, you put so much of yourself into who you're caring for, your loved ones, your own family. Everybody's needs comes before yours.
Yeah.
And I put so much of myself into Troy and his treatment and his survival that when it came to the point where he was pronounced cancer-free, I was like, well, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
my whole identity had been wrapped up in Troy's cancer treatment and diagnosis. So I was lost as to what Ashley wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I would literally cry out, what am I supposed to do? Like, all this work and, strength that I thought that I had found after grieving the loss of my dad, and then that carried me through helping Troy with his diagnosis. Then I felt like I was right back at stage 0 because I didn't know what I was supposed to do.
Yeah, going back through the grieving process again.
Yes. And even though Troy didn't pass away, we still grieve the future that we were, quote unquote, were supposed to have together, So in about May of this year, I said, okay, enough crying and blubbering. I need to figure it out. So I invested in myself, and I found a business coach because, the entrepreneurial, skill set and mindset has always been embedded in me with my parents.
Yep.
And I said, I need to be doing something for myself.
Yes, ma'am.
And to help people, because that's what I like to do. So when I hired this business coach, we went through my likes, my dislikes, my passions, and she had this chart where she called, there's 2 different spaces. One was to write, all your pain and your pleasures down. So I wrote, I was very candid about everything. And as we're reading through, she was like, well, you mentioned travel a lot, planning events a lot. And then she was like, well, what's this over here about your dad and your husband? And I said, oh, that's really painful, uncomfortable stuff. That, I just wrote that down because you told me to be honest.
Yeah.
But this is these are my pleasurable points over here. She said, no, let's keep going over these pain points.
Mm-hmm.
I immediately started crying because it was very vulnerable for me to talk about what happened.
Yeah.
And she was like, I think this is the chord that we needed to hit. And this is where you can help people. And it just sort of clicked in it was like a light bulb moment. It, like in the movies, like when it goes ding.
Yep. You have mail.
Yeah, like Gmail, Godmail, hello.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, it was just like, then I need to help people that were in our same situation. Because trust and believe, if I would have had a wedding planner that knew exactly what I was going through, I would say, here's my budget, here's my colors, go have fun. I just want to show up because I don't really necessarily have time to do all the treatment, be there for my husband with all, my fiance with all his treatment, and focus on the wedding. I did it, but if I would have had someone that was sympathetic and empathetic, I definitely would have, went with that person. So, in July of this year, during the height of the pandemic, some people would probably call me crazy, but I love a little crazy. I launched Timeless Dream Events.
Yes, you did.
Yes, and
you
Timeless Dream Events. We provide spectacular and wonderful events for the terminally and chronically ill and their loved ones. So my my heart goes out to caregivers. So I also offer, help and just being a listening ear for caregivers as well. So that is my story, and that's how Timeless Dream Events came to be. It came out of my pain, and now I can help others that may find themselves in our same situation, and I can help them have that celebration of love and life while their loved one is here.
Well, like
because
I
think
said,
it's very, yeah.
I feel like, first of all, I have to say, like I said, thank you for being my guest. Because a lot of times people, what you said about being a caregiver, people don't, they don't know, a lot of people don't know what a lot of caretakers go through. They see it, but sometimes they don't know all the ins and the outs. And think about the amazing journey that you went on, through the pain. You found some rays of sunshine too. Your engagement was one, the wedding was another, figuring out how to help the next person. That's amazing. That's amazing. Like when I saw the website and I went through it, and I was just like floored, like literally floored. Because during the pandemic, I've been telling people, find something that you like, figure out your niche, figure out how, you can be great. And you did it. And you did it. And the thing about it is that I love the fact that you help people, families in a way is kind of like like you're helping them really get through the grieving process, and you don't really know, you know what I mean? Like they don't really realize that, but that's part of what that is.
Right.
To put together a trip for someone who's terminally ill, or even for the caretaker, is absolutely amazing. It's amazing. And when I saw that, when I say jaw dropped. Because, I mean, seriously, because I look at it like this. We see different businesses every day. I know I see them. People call me with different business ideas. This is a hidden jewel for me. Because you hear about the nonprofit organizations that do that. You know what I mean? Like you hear about them, but you don't hear about someone who is someone that's been through it and then decided to help other people create events that are, man, spectacular. You don't see that every day.
Right.
And the thing about it is, the reason why, I wanted to give you that time to tell your story is because of everything that you've been through and everything that you overcame. You guys did that individually, and you're doing it as a couple. What strength.
Right.
All I thought about was what strength that took, to go through those paces. And like you said, your fiance went in one way but came out another. So then you being the caretaker, you're trying to adjust to his new normal when he's trying to adjust to his new normal.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people forget that part. They think, oh, okay, you go through an illness, you go to the doctor, you take some medication, you get treated, you just sit at home. People don't realize you're sitting there thinking about bills, you're thinking about what to eat, you're thinking about if what you cook or what you feed someone, is that going to cause an allergic reaction? Like, people don't really realize a lot until you go through that, what all that entails. And then, of course, I understand what it's like to be a caretaker, because then you're sitting there, because I know I was like this, sitting there, trying to have a smile on my face. You know what I mean? And okay, well, how do I, how do I keep this person's spirits up? How do I keep their energy high? I want to make sure that they're, feeling good at the same time. But then you're right. Okay, well, I forgot about me in the process. So when I say I resonated with this, when I read your email, I was amazed. And here you are doing great work for people to have great memories of their loved ones, with their loved ones. It doesn't get any better than that. for that, Miss Ashley, and my main man Troy, I want to give you guys a round of applause. I mean, what you did is amazing. It's amazing. And then, like, I love how, and you gave some nuggets, okay? So I hope the listeners were tuning in to the nuggets that you gave. You said, first of all, you know, being a caretaker, you have to take care of yourself. That's first and foremost. You know, and then you talked about the grieving process, how you went through that grieving process, because then it's like, okay, we got used to this normal. Now we have to get used to something else. And so I can understand during that time the mindset that you had, where you're like, okay, where's my role now? You know, like, okay, we're getting through these humps. Okay, so now what? And I love how you said, okay, well, you know what? During the pandemic, I decided to do this because of everything that we've been through. That's amazing. And I love it. You said you invested in yourself. You got a coach. And, you know, whoever your coach is, tell them to give me a call. I need to get them on the mic as well. You know, we need to have like a coach to coach powwow session on the mic, because people don't realize when you hire a business coach to help you formulate your dreams, like that person is really vested in what you're doing. Most people say, oh, okay, yeah, I'm paying a coach. They're going to give me some advice. No. The coach is like in there with you to win it. They want you to win.
Absolutely.
You know? So, yes, they want to know about the playing. They want to know about the pleasure. I'm a person, I want to know what time you go to bed at night. What time you get up in the morning. Do you read? Are you a reader? You know what I mean? So, I totally get that. And I love the fact that you hired a coach to help you. I absolutely love that. So you tell your coach that they need to come get on the mic with Candace Joseph, and you know.
I sure will.
They need to come get on the mic. Look, your coach needs to call in and be my co-host for the day, and we can just sit back and answer people's questions and be like, hey, this is what it's really like to have a coach. Because some people don't know, you know.
Yeah,
so,
you know.
Tell the people about having a coach. I want you to tell them about your experiences with having a business coach, because I'm a business coach, and a lot of times people don't see the value in a business coach. But I'm even a business coach with a couple of business coaches. I got coaches myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and I found out today that I was actually through the Knot, which is the top like wedding website that you can go to.
Yes.
I found out today that I was Best of Weddings. I was part of the Best of Weddings for 2021. And I sent my little logo that I received from them, and I sent it to my business coach today. And she said, I knew that you had this in you. So anytime I have a win, anytime I have a doubt, she's there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It can be at a random time. It can be at 8 a.m., 8 p.m. If I email her or message her,
yeah,
she's in my corner.
I love that.
That's a business coach. They're not just giving you advice and say, okay, good luck, you know, see you later. No, they are, like you said, they're invested in you.
Yes, they are. Yep. Yeah.
And I know she'll have my back, you know, and she'll talk me, you know, if I'm having any kind of a doubt, she'll help me figure out, okay, why are you thinking this way? Maybe you should go down this path. I do all the work, but the coach will help you get to the right path.
Thank you for saying that. You know,
yeah.
Thank you for saying that, because, you know, I'm a business coach, and I try to tell people all the time, you know, you think we're not pulling for you? We're pulling. You know, And most people, oh, well, we're paying you. That comes with the territory. No, it does not, because I can hand you back your money just as easy as you gave it to me. I hand it back to you. Because the thing about it is that, you have to be someone who's teachable. Because if you knew all the answers, you would never have to call anybody ever. You know
what? And she told me that at one point too.
Yep.
Towards the when I was getting ready to launch, and we were doing a couple of our wrap up sessions. I just told her, thank you for being the best coach ever. And she said, no, thank you for being teachable. And I was like, I had to sit there and think about it for a minute. I'm like, well, why wouldn't I be? But, I'm sure there are people out there that want to do it their own way still and don't want to listen.
Yep.
Well, then you do it how you want to do, but you might not win. If I didn't sit there and listen to my coach, I might have gotten where I am now, but it might not be in 2020. It might have been in 2025 because I might not have become emboldened and brave to lead with my story. My story has brought me more, clients than what I originally thought. Like I've done, events for people who aren't necessarily terminally or chronically ill.
Yeah. Because
I lead with my story and they're like, wow, you really know about some love. I want you to be a part of my wedding.
Wow.
And that's not bragging or anything. That's just being coachable, teachable, listen. Like I didn't hire her to not listen to her.
Thank you for saying that. Oh my gosh. See what I'm talking about? Look, Ashley dropping nuggets. Ashley might have to come back next week and be my co-host for the show. I am determined, because this is the whole thing. It's like sometimes people will tell you, I know for me, on the coach spectrum, people will give you their plan from A to B, but then they want you to hand it to them. Wait, that's not my goal. I'm not a gopher. My goal is to push you to understand why, certain things in business work and why certain things don't. And the thing about it is, the whole point of a coach is to see your vision to come true. It's not our vision, it's yours. So a lot of times people say, oh, okay, well, you don't understand my passion and you don't understand my drive and you just don't get me. No, I get you, but you want a quick fix. Going into business, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for, having that strength and courage to even go into being an entrepreneur in the first place. Trust me, I understand about those entrepreneur genes flowing through your body. And, the thing about it is, even though you saw firsthand experience, you still went out and got a coach, And a lot of times people do not do that. They'll say, okay, my grandmother had a business, my grandpa had a business, my parents had a business, so I got a business too. But why? The things have changed. Policies have changed. Economics has changed. What's trending has changed. Safety precautions have changed. Why not get with someone who can help you reach that goal? That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And thank you for being a voice, for your coach. Look, send them my contact information and send me theirs and send me their email because I'm going to tell them what a great job they did.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I love my coach. She's the bomb. Listen, anytime I see someone struggling with ideas for a business or whatever, and I'm pretty sure I do talk her up.
Yeah.
And podcasts I'm a part of. I say I wouldn't be here without her. Not that she did the work for me, but she helped me along to this point.
Yeah.
To get me to this point.
Yeah.
And when people are, I see they're struggling with ideas or how to walk it out, I'm like, you need to get with my business coach. I don't know why you keep playing, but
hey,
get with her.
Look, the knot is a big deal. So congratulations to you on that. Another round of applause for Ashley. The thing about it is that, you know, the fact that you had a great coach, you were able to achieve what you wanted to do, where most people in year one of their businesses fail because they don't want to take the advice. They don't want to take the time, you know, to do that. And I have to say that's amazing. You know, I just have to say thanks. You know, thank you for telling your story. Thank you for being great. Thank you for being an entrepreneur, because really we need more entrepreneurs like you, and we definitely need more coaches like you. You know, I'm sitting here looking at some of the comments that I'm getting, and you know, one of my teammates, Pops Bird, says, shout out to all of the coaches that don't seek awards. You're absolutely right. Pops, you're absolutely right. Because the thing about it is that if we all pull together our resources and really create something great, just think about, you know, how great the world would be and what kind of impact everybody can make. So, you know, send me your business coach information. I'm going to email them tonight and tell them
I will.
That
I definitely will.
it's amazing. It's amazing. And I love the fact that you're someone that you are okay with giving out the greatness of your coach and telling someone else, hey, call my coach up. They're pretty cool. You know, they will get you to the level of where you need to be. And I'm sure your coach appreciate those referrals, but that's just amazing job within itself, because not only are you someone who decided to invest in yourself, you created an awesome company. It's a hidden jewel. People need to know about it. I'm so glad that theknot.com picked your wedding company as one of their tops. Your event planning company. I am so happy about that. You know, that gave me chills, because, you know, when you walk into your greatness, it's no turning back, and you created something that's great, and it's meaningful, and it's gonna touch so many lives. You know, look, you better keep in contact with me, because all I'm gonna say is this: I want to know about the amazingness. I want to know what's going on 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 10 years from now. I want to hear about that. I want to hear about that greatness. I want to see that growth. And, you know, at least I can say that, you know, I had you on my radio show to tell the listeners all about it. And I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited.
I really appreciate you.
I love it. I love that. And keep doing what you're doing. So I like to ask people to give out advice to, you know, entrepreneurs that are starting out like yourself. You know, like you started out and you hit the ground running, and you're running with the ball. Okay, you're running with it. You know, give some advice to someone that's listening right now, who's either thinking about entrepreneurship, or they're thinking about, you know, stopping their business because maybe they don't see the impact. Or just, you know, give them some words of encouragement, some words of wisdom.
Sure. You know, just if you don't know what your purpose is, maybe that's where you need to start. And, you know, give Candace a call.
That's right. Give Candace the Guru a call, 713-425-0510. That's right. Get with the business guru. Innocent plug there.
I mean, well, you know, in all seriousness, I literally probably could have just been sitting here sulking for the rest of the year if I hadn't made that conscious decision to better myself.
Yep.
You know, it's that meaning of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You can't do that.
You're so right. You are so right. You know, I tell people, you know, never give up. And even during the times that we have now, sometimes it just, you know, you might need to rebrand. You might need to, take a look at those services or products that you have and maybe scale them down. You know,
true.
You know, I want people to know that there is greatness within you. And I tell people that all the time. Sometimes you just have to take a step back And, yeah, like I tell entrepreneurs all the time, I get the fact that, bills are knocking at your door and you need to turn a profit. I get that. But sometimes we have to make sure that, your position is within a place of strength to be great.
Right.
Yeah.
I
love it.
Never give up, like you said. But just, you have to sometimes take a step back and think, like, what am I really trying to do? What actually fulfills me? What is my purpose? And, something my dad always told me, Ashley, when you figure out your purpose, walk within it. Don't worry about the money, because the money will come.
The money
Find
will
that
come.
purpose, walk it out, and then the money will come.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad.
Yes.
Thank you, Dad, for the covering. You know what I mean? Thank you, Dad, for the wisdom. Thank you for the covering, because a lot of times people don't realize that. And that's why for me, I give and I give freely, because when it catches on and it's on fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes people, they don't want to go through those paces. They don't want to go through that hard time, and yes, Dad, thank you. Thank you for that advice. Thank you. And I know that you are looking down right now and you are smiling from ear to ear, because I am sitting here in the studio and I am smiling from ear to ear. Yes, I am, because people don't know, like, if you keep doing it and you keep doing what you're doing, and as long as your heart is in the right place while you're doing it, and, your why has to be there. I tell people all the time, you have to start a business with a vision. It has to have some type of impact. Anybody can go out here and make money, but what about the impact? Yeah. So I am with you, because I tell people all the time, if you serve the community, the money will come. I tell people that all the time. Every week I tell people that. I love that. So you know what, Ashley? I want you to give the listeners of High Volume Music Radio, the Business Knowledge Broker Hour with Candace Joseph, your contact information so that they can come in and experience that greatness and share the information along to other people that need your services, want to check you out, or just to find out more about maybe how they can help within their own community.
Sure. I'd love to. And as a matter of fact, for the Christmas season, I did launch a caregiver self-care box. So if you know a caregiver, the caregivers that don't think about themselves, they're the last ones they think about. Yeah. That's who this box is for. And it is curated from 3 to 4 other female-owned small businesses. And you can go onto my website, and while you're on my website, you can check out all the services I offer, plus this box. You can check out Troy and I's more in-depth story.
Mm-hmm. It's
and
amazing.
You can find us at www.timelessdreamevent.com. Also, you can find me at Timeless Dream Event on Facebook and Instagram.
Amazing. And this is a call to action. If you are a caregiver or know someone that's a caregiver, or want to create, that timeless event, something that people will always, remember, y'all give Ashley send Ashley an email, a smoke signal, wrap a note around a pigeon's foot and send it to her, because the things that she's doing is absolutely amazing. And congratulations on your recognition from the knot.com. Congratulations to your coach, for being a great coach, and thank you for being a great listener to your coach. I absolutely love that. I absolutely, positively love that. And all I have to say is thank you for being a hidden jewel. Thank you for being, look, the night didn't put you on the map now. So, I just want you to let you know, I still want the family rate, now. Wait. Or should I say, I want today's market rate. Because your stock is going up, ma'am. I want today's market rate for your services, because I know in a month, sky's the limit. And thank you for shattering those ceilings, because, a lot of times people, their companies is geared for the everyday person. Thank you for taking that time out to think about the terminally ill. Thank you for thinking about those that need that experience, that need that break, that need some greatness and some happiness in their life. Thank you for doing that. I can't say it enough. And, make sure you keep in contact with me. Anything that you're doing, let me know about it. I want to get it on the air. I want to get it on all my social media as well. And just know you have the full support of the business guru, Candace Joseph. Whatever you need, you let me know. And send me that link you sent your coach, because I'm posting that tonight. You send me that link. I'm posting that tonight, and I'm going to email that out and text it to some caregivers that I know, and also some people that are terminally ill as well that need, they need to see that. And I did have one question in regards to the subscription boxes that you have. Are they geared towards men and women?
So for this first one, it's probably more for women.
Okay.
Because I have more women caregivers respond to when I did a couple polls.
Understood.
But it's not to say in the near future, because what I'm going to do is probably either a bi-monthly or quarterly box. I'll be inserting more, unisex things.
Okay. Well, you know what? You let me know if you need some more male entrepreneurs, items for your subscription box. And look, I got a list, okay? And they're from all over the nation.
Perfect.
I will give you a list of male entrepreneurs that you need in order to, fill that. Because a lot of times, I want to make sure that, the men that are in people's lives are counted as well. Because a lot of times people say, oh, that's geared towards women. Yes, but we have to make sure that we are, we look out for guys as well. I'm all about that.
Yes.
I'm definitely all about that. But, thank you for being my guest tonight, and thank you for taking that extended time, to tell people your story. And, just know you and Troy are all right with me. That's all I have to say about that. I love you guys. I love your company. I love what you're doing. And it is nothing you can do about it, because over here it is the love fest over here at the Business Knowledge Broker Hour. So just know, thank you every day for being light and being love. Thank you.
Much love.
All right. I'll check in with you later, Ashley. We will talk tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Yes. Let's talk tomorrow for sure.
Yes. And I'm going to get that list ready for you, because it's some really great, male entrepreneurs out there. There's some that I, my personal friends. Some are a part of the Joseph Consulting Firm. And some are just all around great entrepreneurs that I've met, especially with finding hidden jewels like yourself by doing this show. So I would definitely make sure I have that. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
How amazing is that? Honestly, right now, I'm speechless. I really am. And for some of y'all know that's hard for me to be. But I am speechless. Just think about the greatness of that. Even though she was, her and her fiance were going through this, these trials and these tribulations. And yes, their vows were, taking the test of time before they even got married. Think about the commitment that they have within each other. Think about the love. Think about what type of communication they had to have in order to talk about those things that most people don't want to talk about. Like, we have to think about the, when I called it, saying about how she turned something that was a pain, because that's how she described it. She described it as, this was her pain. And I love how her business coach had her dissect her feelings in regards to the good parts of her life and the not so good. Because the thing about it is that people don't realize is that when you don't go through those communication exercises, even within yourself, it can affect your business. And, to be a great entrepreneur, you have to be okay with being who you are and knowing who you are in all paces of your life every day. You have to know. You have to know how to pour into yourself. You have to know how, to give yourself those breaks. You have to know how to do that. So when I say you guys need to really check out her website, okay? It is so serious. TimelessDreamEvents.com. When I say it's amazing, it's amazing. Just reading her story alone, I read it more than once, because you just think about all the things that people go through just on a normal everyday, and then coming out on the other side of that with, the cancer being in remission, for her husband, and going through those changes where he had to get to know his new normal, and she had to get used to a new normal for herself, And then I love how she talked about the grieving process. People don't realize that when you go through different stages of your life, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean, we see it with high school kids all the time, where they finish up with their diploma from high school and then they don't know what to do next. We see it with, people that, retire from jobs. I think both of my parents had to deal with that, going through that process. Like, okay, I'm used to getting up and going to work. Now what do I do with my time? You see that with mothers where their kids, they're used to being stay-at-home moms, and then their kids are school age, or even guys that are, that they're stay-at-home dads. You think about that. Think about the evolution of someone's life. You graduate high school, then you go and do that. Your kid gets their first car, your kid get their first apartment. Think about it like, I remember being, 20 years old, getting my first place, like, yes. But I never thought about why my parents would come by and drop off toilet paper or bleach or call me and ask me if I had enough food. I never thought about it until I got older, about how they were on the other side of that grieving process, because now that kid, Candace, is gone. So we have to think about our caretakers. If you know a caretaker, I don't care who it is. I don't care who they're taking care of. If they're taking care of kids, if they're taking care of elderly. And you have to remember, entrepreneurs are caretakers too, because we take care of the community. People that are in nonprofits, have nonprofit organizations, they are caretakers. Think about the caretakers in your life. You're a caretaker. If you're someone who makes sure, hey, I got to make sure mom got their medication. I'm going to go pick it up from the pharmacy. I'm going to drop it off. Hey, I got to make sure, dad, gets out to the fishing hole. We have to make sure that we take care of our caretakers, and that means taking care of yourself as well. I'm going to take a music break, and I'll be right back with more greatness here at the Business Knowledge Broker Hour. Thank you, Ashley Jackson-Thompson, for being on the show tonight. Thank you to Troy Thompson for being strength and being light and being courage. And thank you guys for being love and being peace. Music break, Harvard Music Radio, Business Knowledge Broker Hour with Candace Joseph. I'm coming back with some more Candaceisms for the night wrap up. And I'm playing something a little bit, because it's time for celebration. Dancing with a Stranger, Sam Smith, and Normani. Harvard Music Radio, turn it up loud.
HighVolumeMusicRadio.com. The Business Knowledge Broker Hour.
Hey, yo, Guru, you ready?
Business, marketing,